Imagine swimming on a warm summer morning, the water calm, the sun rising over the trees, when suddenly your child vanishes under the surface screaming. You rush in only to come face to face with a snarling river otter, nearly 4 feet long, biting, clawing and not backing down. This isn't fiction. This really happened to a boy and his grandmother on the Pilchuck River in Washington. What caused this rare and vicious attack? Was it territorial instinct, disease, or something even more disturbing? Today, we're diving into one of the most shocking and aggressive animal encounters caught in recent memory. The Otter attack that left 2 people hospitalized and a family shaken to its core. And just wait until you hear what the otter did after the attack. This is not your average wildlife encounter. This is savage. Welcome to Savage Tales, Animal Encounters, the channel where nature shows its teeth. Here, we bring you real stories of raw survival, terrifying wildlife attacks, and true encounters with nature's wildest, most unpredictable predators. From deep in the jungles to your own backyard, we expose the wild like you've never seen it before. If you're fascinated by the untamed, the feral and the downright savage side of the animal kingdom, you're in the right place. Before we dive into this harrowing story, take a moment to support the channel. Hit that like button if you want more jaw-dropping animal encounters. Drop a comment below. Would you have gone back into the river to fight off that otter? Share this video with someone who thinks otters are always cute and cuddly. They're in for a shock. And don't forget to subscribe for weekly savage tales you won't find anywhere else. Smash that notification bell so you're first to know when the next wild encounter drops. Every click helps us uncover more stories and bring them to life for people who love the wild as much as you do. So get ready. And remember, nature isn't cruel, it's just savage. It was a calm, golden summer morning along the Pilchuck River, just outside Machias, Washington. A quiet, wooded area nestled in the heart of the Pacific Northwest. The trees swayed gently in the breeze. Birds called from the branches and the river glistened in the early light as it meandered through the valley. For Tabitha Moser and her family, this was supposed to be a perfect day in nature. They'd visited the river before. It was their peaceful getaway, a place to escape the noise of everyday life, let the kids splash around and reconnect with the outdoors. Her 8-year-old son was especially excited. Like many kids his age, he was fascinated by rivers and wildlife, tadpoles, fish, smooth, skipping stones. He and his grandmother, a woman full of warmth and protective instinct, were waist-deep in the water together, laughing and playing, just enjoying the gentle current as it drifted past them. Everything seemed normal, safe, serene. There had been no signs of danger, no warning growls, no rustling in the bushes, just the soothing sounds of water and wind, a scene that could have been lifted straight from a postcard. But there was something in the water with them, unseen, unheard, watching. According to Tabitha, they didn't even notice it at first. They were too busy enjoying the moment, too unaware that a wild animal, powerful and territorial, had quietly entered their space. Then things started to shift. Her son began to paddle toward the deeper part of the river when he suddenly stopped. His head tilted, his brows furrowed. There was something in the water just ahead, something dark, sleek, moving against the current. At first it almost looked like driftwood, but it was moving with intent, controlled, curious. Tabitha would later describe how it tracked them, following silently upstream, just beneath the surface. It didn't splash, it didn't dart away. It swam with a kind of cold, eerie patience, staying just close enough to be noticed, and just far enough to avoid alarm. Still, something felt wrong. That off feeling, the kind that makes your skin crawl even when you can't explain why. Tabitha shouted a casual warning to her mother and son, just in case. "Hey, stay close," she called from the shoreline. But it was already too late. Whatever was in that river had made up its mind. And then, without a splash, without a sound, it struck. The peaceful river became a battleground in an instant, and the family's worst nightmare was about to begin. One moment, the water was calm. The next, it exploded into chaos. The otter, A sleek, muscular predator nearly 4 feet long erupted from beneath the surface like a torpedo, its eyes locked onto the child with a terrifying primal focus. There was no hesitation, no warning, no second chance. The creature latched onto the 8-year-old boy's head, sinking its sharp teeth into his scalp and dragging him under. Tabitha Moser, standing on shore, froze in horror as her son vanished into the river with a scream so shrill, so blood-curdling, it cut through the woods like a siren. Her heart seized. The entire world stopped for a split second. Then she ran. The boy surfaced, flailing, his small arms thrashing above the water as the otter's sleek brown body coiled around him like a serpent. The animal was biting down on his head, raking at his back and shoulders with razor-like claws. It wasn't a single bite, it was a sustained, savage assault. The otter was trying to drown him, or worse, tear him apart. Within seconds, the boy's grandmother, already in the river, reached him. She grabbed his arm, tried to pull him free, but the otter was still attached. It twisted and lunged at her, redirecting its fury. Its next target was her face. With shocking agility, the otter turned on the elderly woman, biting her arm, then latching onto her leg. She screamed in agony as it tore into her skin, ripping through clothing, muscle and nerve. Every time they thought they'd shaken it loose, it came back. Every moment felt like an eternity. The river now stained red, boiled with struggle and panic. Tabitha waded in, fighting her way to them through the waist-deep water. Her own mother was being mauled in front of her. Her son was bleeding, in shock, screaming. "It was biting her as I was dragging her out of the river," she later said. "It wouldn't stop. It kept coming over and over again." With all her strength, Tabitha pulled them both toward shore, her son cradled in one arm, her mother barely able to walk, wincing and crying from the pain. The otter followed. Not from a distance, not cautiously, aggressively, deliberately. It continued to pursue them through the shallow water, lunging at their legs, snapping at their heels. They were nearly out of the river, and it still would not stop. Then, at last, they reached dry ground. Tabitha turned back to look at the water. And that's when she saw something she'll never forget. The otter rose up on its hind legs, standing waist-high in the current, its body slick and dripping, its teeth bared, its black eyes locked on them like a sentinel guarding its territory. It stood up like a person, she recalled, just watching us, like it was saying, "Don't come back. This is my river." The message was chillingly clear. The adrenaline rush dulled the pain, but it couldn't hide the damage. Both victims were bleeding profusely. The boy had multiple puncture wounds to his head, neck and back. His scalp was torn open, blood running into his eyes. His grandmother's arms and legs were shredded, deep gouges where the otter had bitten her repeatedly. Tabitha called 911 as they stumbled toward the road, soaked and shaking. Within minutes, first responders arrived. Paramedics stabilized the victims and rushed them to the hospital. There, doctors treated the child for severe lacerations, shock and possible infection. He would require stitches, antibiotics and a full rabies treatment regimen. His grandmother was hospitalized as well, her wounds requiring similar care, and she faced a longer recovery due to her age and the depth of the injuries. But beyond the physical trauma was the psychological one. The boy had nightmares for weeks. He couldn't close his eyes without seeing the otter's face. His mother described how he would wake up crying, afraid to go near water, afraid of even the bathtub. Fish and wildlife agents were dispatched to the scene later that day. They surveyed the riverbank and set up traps, hoping to catch the rogue otter. But the creature, fast, elusive and cloaked by the river's murky depths, vanished without a trace. As of this recording, it has not been caught. Wildlife experts were stunned. Yes, otter attacks have been documented, but they're rare and usually defensive in nature. A mother protecting her pups, an animal cornered or startled. But in this case, there were no baby otters nearby. The family hadn't provoked it. They were simply swimming in the water. Some biologists suspect the otter could have been diseased, possibly rabid or suffering from toxoplasmosis, which can cause erratic, aggressive behavior. Others say it may have been a dominant male defending territory during the height of summer mating season. But nothing explains the ferocity, the persistence, and the way it tracked them before attacking. That's what still baffles officials. What began as a peaceful family outing ended with sirens, stitches, trauma, and lifelong scars, both seen and unseen. Tabitha Moser and her family will never look at nature the same way again. Neither should we. Because in the wild, it doesn't matter how calm the water looks, it doesn't matter how cute the animal seems. When instinct takes over and you're caught in its path, there's no warning, there's no mercy, there's only one truth. Nature isn't cruel, it's just savage. That day on the Pilchuck River will forever haunt one Washington family. A reminder that nature isn't just beautiful, it's unpredictable. And sometimes it's deadly. We often think of otters as playful, cuddly river dwellers. But as you've seen today, when you enter their territory, the wild doesn't care how innocent your intentions are. This was more than just an animal encounter. This was savage. If this story gripped you like it did us, do us a favor. Hit that like button. It helps more people discover these powerful real-life survival stories. Leave a comment. Have you ever experienced or even heard of an animal acting this aggressively in the wild? We want to hear your savage tale. Share this video with someone who underestimates nature. Let them know cute doesn't mean harmless. And don't just subscribe, join the tribe. Tap that notification bell so you're the first to witness the next unbelievable encounter when it drops. Every like, comment and sub helps us continue digging into the raw, often untold stories of when humans cross paths with the wild and don't always walk away unscathed. From all of us here at Savage Tales Animal Encounters, thank you for watching and supporting this wild ride through the most intense moments between man and beast. Nature isn't cruel, it's just savage. See you in the next encounter.